us, and I just love it when you guys are around and you're all hearing us. And like I
Hey.
Yellow. And
Hello.
Good morning, VSJ. Hey, this is not a test. This is virtual slide jam down from the Asheville Mountains to the Venice Beach. Is that just me or is that a Vin Diesel movie? This is family. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Virtual slide jam co-host Rob Wheeler and your main host, the weirdo who's not a beardo, or the beardo who's not a beardo, the man from the mountain time, the master himself. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for none other than Kurt Dero!
Woo!
Wow. I need that like every morning when I wake up.
Yeah, that's a good way to wake up for sure.
Good evening, everybody. How's it going?
Well, yeah. Welcome to another episode of Virtual Slide Jam. We have a pleasure of dissecting the brain of our co-host, Mr. Jarrid Lopez, today. How you doing, J-Lo?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a Friday. Had some opportunities to go skate, get some practice in, clean up my apartment a little bit, and get ready for an amazing weekend. Yeah, dude.
What's it feel like being in the hot seat for a change?
It's definitely kind of a different change of pace. Not gonna lie, I'm used to listening to other people talk, and now it's like, oh crap, now I got to do the talking.
I'm
That
excited.
shouldn't be too hard.
No, it's all good. I think I'm fairly prepared, quote unquote.
Well, yeah, Kurt and I were talking, and I have a lot of history with you, Jarrid, so I'm going to be kind of
That is
heading
true.
this one up. And I just want to kind of start with where I met you first, which was in 2012 at the Virginia State University Surf the Streets 2. And before we get into that event, I want you to tell me, fill in the gap here, where the hell did you come from? Because you already came to that event with a ton of skills. You know, I was blown away. You did like the longest manual. You almost hit the faceplant van, actually. And I believe you got top 3 in the slide jam as well. So just tell us your history of how you got started longboarding and what led you to that event.
Well, yeah, no, that was still to this day, that was one of the toughest competitions I ever had, which was with you on that day. But the beginning, oh boy, I guess this all started in December of 2005. I was 13 years old, got a longboard for Christmas. It was a gravity double kick, 40-inch or 48-inch, I think. But back then, I didn't know you could do tricks on a longboard. I thought that was a myth. I thought they would break. So back then, I just did a little bit of carving here and there, maybe pop a manual, and that's how I got good at manuals, because that was like one of the first things that I did. It wasn't until my first day of college on August 30th, 2010, freshman year, and I was just hanging out with a neighbor who's getting his master's degree, and then a friend of mine that I met at freshman orientation named Billy. He's like, dude, I saw a video of a guy doing tricks on a longboard on YouTube. It's like, what? No way. So we go to his dorm. We saw the video, and I was like, dude, I don't have engineering class for another 3 hours. Let's go try it out. Went to the parking lot, tried it out. It was a simple tiger claw. It was a tiger claw video, and it was some guy from Loaded at the time. I can't remember the guy's name, but by the end of that day, I learned how to do a tiger claw. And then each day after that, I learned watch a new video, a new trick video, and then go practice it. Watch a new video, go practice. Watch a new video, go practice. And within 2 weeks, it got to a point where my friends were saying, dude, you should try to get sponsored. I was like, what? I've done sports my whole life, never been good enough to be sponsored in anything. So I was like, yeah, right. They're like, no, seriously, there's a longboard store just outside of campus. I was like, wait, what? Like a store that just sells longboards? They're like, yeah, it exists. I was like, yeah, right. But next day, sure as crap, it's a real thing. It's not only was it a retail store, but they also made their own boards in-house, and it was called XVD Longboards. And I was very lucky to be on board with that brand, because I didn't know what to think or what to do. I just said, hey, are y'all looking for riders. They're like, yeah, make us a video and we'll let you know what we think. I whipped up a video, edited it myself, and it's still on Facebook to this day. It's kind of funny of how I edited it back then. But I showed the owner, Randy Carnell, and he said, yeah. And it felt like a 13-year-old kid meeting Justin Bieber for the first time back in 2000. It was just head over heels over the moon, like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And then ever since I got on board, it's just been practice every day. Go out and get videos with XVD. And then it wasn't until April 26, 2012, where I met none other than Rob Wheeler and the Faceplant Board Rider boys for the first time. In fact, that was that event where y'all met Carden and Austin at that same
That's
event.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. We stayed at the same place, Carden, Austin, and I. And yeah, no, it was just funny coincidence of like, oh, we're all like, we first, met as strangers, like, oh, we all know Michael Dalton or Dayton. And by the end of the weekend, next thing you know, those two guys I was crashing with over the weekend, next thing you know, they're riding for Faceplant Board Riders. I just thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, look at that. And to this day, I mean, I still think that the Wheelers Diablos, these beautiful bad boys, still the best sliding wheels in the market. But too bad they don't exist anymore. Oh, teardrop. Such an amazing wheel. The most bang for your buck ever. But yeah.
Can we get a close-up of that wheel real quick?
Oh, yeah, dude. This is the Wheelers Diablos 85A 70 millimeter, ahead of its time. They came in stone ground, and
Center set.
I don't know if I like the V1s or the V2s better because V1s were not stone ground, but yet they dumped Thane. But the V2s were stone ground, but they didn't dump Thane, but they also lasted twice as long. So it's kind of like, I like how it lasts long, but I definitely love that Thane line.
Dude, the red Thane is sleeper Thane for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. It made sliding so much easier. Like with whatever your imagination was, whatever your creativity level was, the wheels allowed you to do it, and that's why I fell in love with the wheels so much. And I stuck around with Wheelers for 4 years, Rob? 20.
Yeah, pretty much through the whole thing, honestly.
Yeah, that was a good time, man.
I think you actually got picked up by Otang by the end of it. Right?
Yeah, that's right. I remember I had that tough phone call to Rob. Dude, because you gotta understand, orangutan, that was like shooting for the stars, reaching over the moon. Like, man, one day if I ever make it, that was the dream wheel sponsor. And I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna stick with Wheelers, and until I get that phone call or email from orangutan, I'll stick with Wheelers. But then, sure enough, that one day I got that email, and I was on my way to a seminar for at Towson University, and as soon as I got the email, I made the difficult phone call to Rob, like, hey man, Otang is calling. I think I got to take it, man. And Rob, you were very understanding, and I truly meant what I said when I said I was like, dude, I still would love to be a part of your events. I still want to go to the events because they're amazing and fun. I do not plan on ending my relationship with you because you're a great person, and I definitely want to keep working with you. And here we are, 6 years, 8 years later, and we're still associated.
12 years. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been
12 years since I met you. And you help out with Skate the Cape. Now we're doing this podcast together. It's been a fun journey for sure.
It has been a fun journey for sure.
And I just want to say I was super happy for you. Obviously, Otang is a dream sponsor for any longboarders. So I was super stoked for you. And plus, you deserve it because when you reached out to us in 2012, we just started up Wheelers, and you sent us the most professional application for a team rider that my brother and I have ever seen. So it was a no-brainer to get you on the team. And then you just produced every year. So you were a great team rider, which kind of want to touch on next. You're still an active sponsored rider. You've gone through a long list of sponsors from small to now big. do you just want to kind of tell us that progression of like how you were able to move on to bigger sponsors and what your responsibilities are being a sponsored rider today?
Absolutely. So my journey into this industry kind of got a slow-ish start, but it also, one of the benefits or advantages I had was rising up in the industry was because when I started, I was working at a longboard company, and I was one of the people who got to read the messages from other people who wanted to be sponsored by, at the time, XVD Longboards. And I asked the owner, Rob Stewart, I was like, hey, what are you looking for with a team rider? Like, what is like your golden goose? And he told me, and I was like, oh, okay. And then when I told him that I wanted to reach out to other brands, he told me the script of what they want to hear. Like, it's all about like what you can give instead of get. And when you type up an email like that and make it look and sound professional, it definitely makes you stand out, makes you sound more legit, and not just a grommet that's saying gimme, 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 gimme. But yeah, I started small with XVD, Ray trucks, wheelers, wheels, and with all the events that I went to, it was a huge opportunity to network with other people and build connections and people who might be from out of state or even out of country. It's nice to connect with those people because you never know if you'll end up seeing them again in a year or two. But what ended up happening was, because I went to so many events, and one time I went to Central Mass in 2015, and that's where I ran into the team manager of Moonshine back in the day, Brandon Desjardins, and that's how I got on with Moonshine. I just ran into him at an event. A couple weeks later, next thing I know, there's a video of me on YouTube, and that was kind of like where it all blew up, really. And then it's interesting, like, because the bigger the sponsor, I notice how sometimes you'll the connections that come with it. It like, oh, because you're sponsored by Orangutan, now you've opened up connections to this brand, that brand, and this that brand. So it kind of, like, when you go bigger, it opens up more doors for you. And to answer your question, the responsibilities of being a team rider, let's see, the formula hasn't really changed all that much throughout the years. I mean, there's multiple ways you can be sponsored in this industry. Like, you can be, you could be a competitive athlete. You could be a media person. You could be a community leader. You could be, or the more modern one is you could be an influencer. And that's another way you can get sponsored, especially if you got good numbers. Brands will look at you, give you an opportunity, a chance. Did I answer your question, Rob?
Definitely. I think the big takeaways there was you, in your emails, you were trying to say what you can give, which is, I think, a great takeaway. And then going to big events, meeting people, and then just kind of snowballed with your sponsors. Getting bigger sponsors led to more sponsors. So yeah, I think that answers it.
I got a quick question on that topic.
What's up?
So, Jarrid, when you were reaching out to these sponsors and you kind of talked to your guy at XVD about how you wanted to present yourself, was it more so like kind of selling yourself of what you do and what you're capable of doing through like work ethic and like personality and what you plan to do, or was it kind of like, this is me skating, here's my clips of me skating, like, or it's a kind of mixture of both back then?
Yes, it does help to, when you're communicating with these brands, it does help to specify like what you are really good at, or like what your specialty is. Because some brands might be looking for a specific category of a rider, or a brand might want a rider who could do a little bit of everything.
Right.
So it really depends on what each brand is looking for in a team rider. But professionally, I cast a really, really wide net because I didn't want to give a brand an opportunity to say no by saying, oh, you only do that category. Well, we're looking for someone who does that category. Well, I'm like, so that's why back in the early 2010s, I just kind of realized, you know what, to widen out my opportunities, I'm just going to dip my toes in every single category of longboarding. So that way it would increase my chances of landing more sponsors, bigger brands. And in the long run, that's one of the reasons of like how it ended up coming to be.
That's really smart.
That was actually one of my next questions is like, you've always been what we like to call an ATV, you know, you do downhill, slide, slalom, dance, push. So I guess like that kind of inspired it, right? Was you wanted to fit all these different categories so they couldn't say no, basically, right? Or was it also
Correct.
where you skated at?
Yes, obviously, because of where I live, downhill is not my strongest suit, but I do enjoy it. I mean, the best thing I have around here where I live is parking garages. But if I want to go fast, like 30 plus, I got to go like 2 hours west in order to skate those kind of hills. But also another thing, the other reason why I pursued like all the categories was because back then, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Kurt and Rob, but back during the golden years, if you wanted to be a pro longboarder, you either had to be a downhiller in the world circuit, competing all around the world, or from what I collected from Loaded and Original and Bustin' was if you want to be a pro longboarder, you had to be good at everything. So once I learned that, that's what was the real motivation. It was like, okay, if that's what you got to do to be a pro, then that's what I'm going to do. So, and it also ties in with, widen your net to catching more sponsors. But yeah, it also ties into that as well. And it definitely has changed over the years. I've noticed how, nowadays, I noticed some people are doing it less and less, which is okay. I want people to enjoy longboarding for what makes them happy. I don't know. I just personally, because I have ADD, I enjoy all the categories of longboarding because I can get bored with one category and then do something entirely different next week. Like one week I'll be really into parking garages, and then the next week I just really want to focus on dancing and freestyle. So I'm never really bored with it at all. It's always fun.
That's really cool. Yeah. Riding all the different disciplines makes it so you never get bored. That's a great way to keep skating.
I would say that like back in the golden era, people might have dipped their toes in all styles of riding to be sponsored, but I don't think everyone was like dipping their toes into being like necessarily like a media dude or a racer or an event organizer or a community leader. It was like maybe two of those. Like, yeah, they skate everything and they compete, or they make media and they also do events. It was rarely all four back then.
Yeah, no, that was rare. But like I remember people like Camilo Cespedes or Brian Bishop, Peter Rynam, Hutton Richardson, Ethan Cochard, all those guys, they were doing a little bit of everything from downhill, sliding, freestyle, dancing. They did all of it. And that was like very inspiring. It was like, whoa, those guys are really good. If I got as good as them, maybe I'll be on their level one day. So that was kind of my motivation back then.
And going back to Otang, like I know that they were really into getting riders on who were doing a lot of community organizing. That was like the Loaded Ambassadors project. So tell us a little bit about how you got onto Otang.
Oh man, the application is long. Okay, so funny thing, I applied for the ambassadorship program 3 times and didn't make the cut. But on the third and final time, because first time I tried in 2012, second time in 2014, then on the third time in 2016, I actually wouldn't have happened without the help of Brandon Desjardins, to be honest, because I first got on Moonshine and then he asked me if there's any brands that I wish to pursue. I said, well, the top of my list would probably be Otang. He's like, oh yeah, I grew up with Ethan. He and I grew up in Oregon. I was like, oh my gosh, of course you did. All right. So the guy personally. I'm jealous. So, he sends an email to Ethan Cochard, sends a letter of recommendation. And a couple of days later, next thing you know, I get an email back from Ethan Cochard. And I started bawling, tears of joy. I was in the car and I was on my way to that seminar. And that was, it was like fireworks on the 4th of July going off. Just like Rocky music, like, yeah.
All right, tell us about getting your first box.
Okay, it was 3 sets of wheels. It was a set of Keanu's, a set of Onsens, and I think some 4 presidents and a shirt. Even though I got 3 sets of wheels, but I just felt like on top of the freaking world, man. And every time I got a new care package, it just got more and more and more wheels, because the way they do things is like, hey, if you do more, you get more, which seems fair. So with the work ethic I already had, it just kept going and going. Eventually, they just kept sending me more wheels. And then 2 years later, after eventually went to headquarters, met Ethan for the first time, met Dom, the owner, and met not Hudson, Dustin Hampton, Camilo Cessped, Alberto, meeting all of those legends, those loaded legends. It was just like, oh my gosh, because half of the people that I met were in, you guys probably remember this, the Green Your Pastures series. Do y'all remember that on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I met half of the staff, I met half of the cast from that series, and it was very hard not to be starstruck. Like, oh my gosh, that's Camilo Cessped. Oh my gosh, that's Levi. Oh my gosh, that's Alberto. He filmed the whole thing. It was
in the house.
Yeah, it was hard not to be starstruck. Like, just walking in that house and just all of that talent in that one house. It was like, oh my gosh. It almost felt like imposter syndrome a little bit. I'm like, am I even supposed to be here right now? Because this is like international talent of the gods of Mount Olympus, man. But
I still get that from time to time. Yeah. Imposter syndrome at events. I'm like, who am I standing near right now? Like, what? I should probably walk away.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like that, especially at Giants Head. Like, I didn't even, yeah, like, next thing you know, you're sitting next to Liam Morgan. It's like, oh shit, hey Liam, and you try not to get. You're like, oh my gosh, that's Liam Morgan. Oh my gosh. All right. Did I answer your question, guys?
Oh,
no, yeah,
always.
Really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess something I just want to ask. The last thing about sponsors for me is, are you doing it for the sponsors? Is like obviously getting on Otang? It's like a status thing. Like, obviously, it's cool to hear you talk about it because it is such a big deal in our little community. Like, it's such a status thing. Like, was that like once you got to Otang, and I was like, now what? Or like, where do you go from there? And like, are you getting better at longboarding to get sponsors?
Well, one of the things that I've always enjoyed about skating is one thing that drew me in was, especially in 2010, it was like, when it came to tricks, it was like the gold rush of skating all over again, where a whole new world where there's so many tricks and combos and lines waiting to be discovered. And it just kind of, it kind of drew me into the sport, was like how loving and welcoming the community was, and just like how there was so much potential of new tricks that could be invented and made. And that's, to this day, that's what kind of keeps me going, is just because I don't even try to think of new tricks in my head. I just literally just go skate for an hour or two, and just new ideas just pop in my head. It's like, you know what? Let's try this line. Let's add this combo, this variation. Let's add that and see if that makes the line look smoother and adds more flow to it. And yeah, no, and that's what I still love about it to this day. But status, it kind of has a little bit to do with that. Because one thing I wanted to be for sure was, I did not want to enter this sport or lifestyle. Like, I just didn't want to be what was the phrase? Be a small fish in a big pond. I guess you could say. I don't know. I just wanted to go. Well, okay. The whole premise of this whole entire journey has been based off of one simple premise. Dude, wouldn't that be cool if ... That was the whole premise of this entire journey in skating. It was just like, dude, wouldn't that be cool if I got sponsored? Dude, wouldn't it be cool if I got sponsored by Otang? Dude, wouldn't that be cool if, and so on. And so the whole thing, it just never stopped. Like, dude, wouldn't it be cool if I got sponsored by Mirskate? Dude, wouldn't it be cool if I got sponsored by this and this and this? Like, dude, wouldn't that be cool if we made podium at Central Mass? And it just, I don't know, just hard work and patience and just a drive to just keep going up and never down. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that definitely answers it and gives me a good segue into tricks.
Oh,
Because you've always, since I've met you, you've always had this unique dance style, like downhill dance style with also slides and combos. So how did you progress to that level, and like where did that style come from?
it all started in 2012 when I first saw Ari Chamismani do a Lady Killer 180 in the Dervish Sama video, product video, or the promo video. And ever since I saw it, I wanted to learn the Lady Killer immediately. And I just practiced and practiced, eventually landed it. But then one day in physics class in March of 2012, I was just writing down notes of how you could potentially make tricks better, the theory of improvement. Like, okay, you can add, you can maybe if you could land this trick one-footed, or if you landed this trick cross-stepped, or this, like minor little tweaks to make your tricks look better, land them better or initiate them a little smoother. And then eventually it hit me. I was like, what if you could do a speed check with your feet crossed in a Lady Killer stance? And then I just kept going, or I just started practicing it, and everyone thought I was crazy. No one thought I could do it. That's why you got to make sure you get a photograph or video. Otherwise, no one's going to. Because even when I did land it, still none of my friends or the members of the ODU Lombard Club, none of them believed me. But sure enough, got a video of it, and everyone was dumbfounded. But then at the time, come to find out, a couple of days after I landed the Lady Killer speed check, Ari Chamismani posted a photo on Loaded saying, Ambassador Ari Chamismani doing a Lady Killer speed check. And I was livid. I was like, son of a monkey.
That's rare.
So that began the Lady Killer wars with Ari and I. So now that him and I can both do a Lady Killer speed check, we're only the people in the world that can do it. So now it's like, well, I guess it's on. So he won. He was the first person to do the Lady Killer speed check. Credit goes to him. But 2 years later, in December of 2014, Jacob Funk, Matt Boozer, and I went to the mountains of West Virginia, and I was just messing around. I just went really fast with my feet crossed, and I put a hand down. Come to find out, you can do a pendy in a Lady Killer stance. I was like, holy crap, if you could do that, that means you could go faster and do it longer. And that's how that got started. And eventually I got so comfortable with it to the point where I can eventually lift my hand up. So, and then I finally figured out a way how to do a Lady Killer faster, longer, easier. And then eventually I did a toe side Lady Killer, got that on video.
Wow.
And ever since then, I don't think Ari's been very enthusiastic with my progress.
I wouldn't want to be that way either. I don't want to try things that'll get me hurt either.
Yeah, now the Lady Killer is like your stock trick.
Yeah, it's my go-to. Word of advice, don't ever try a one-footed Lady Killer. You'll end up getting a bruise on your hip in the shape of a penis. True story. There's a photo of it on my Instagram. No joke. It actually
That's
happened.
going to be like your back foot on the board still, or your front foot?
Oh, man. I don't know. I would have to look back at the footage. I just remember I tried it one-footed, and I think my left foot did not reconnect with the board. So my foot planted on the ground, and then I just ended up flying and landing square in my hip, which the really crappy part was I was wearing my G4 crash pads that day. And by some dumb luck, I landed right on that tiny little space where there's no padding. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, what are the chances of that happening?
And it's shaped like a penis.
This is facts. If you go to my Instagram, it's still there.
So the Lady Killer, I mean, oh god, Kurt, you got it.
I was just gonna say, like, that's a really interesting way to look at tricks, is to kind of figure out what you can do with your feet, or try different variations of it to like make new stuff? Because I know you're one of the dudes that comes to mind when I think of like NBDs. Like this trick, for example, right here is just kind of like I wouldn't even have ever thought of this.
Whoa, Navlord.
What?
That is one of those tricks where it's one of those tricks where it accidentally happens, where you were like, wait a minute, how did that happen? And then you replay it in your head. You're like, wait a minute, if I grabbed the board at a very specific time, we can this could be a real thing. And a lot of the tricks I come up with, that's kind of how it goes. You're just messing around, trying, just doing your regular tricks, and then you accidentally do something that makes the board do something very unique.
Wow.
And you kind of investigate that a little bit, look more into it, and then you realize, whoa, this could be something new entirely. And that's how that combo came to be. I was practicing slide shove it after a big toe side slide, and one day I accidentally stomped the tail with my back foot up, and then it just popped up in a perfect arm length grab where I could do a tiger claw afterwards. I was like, huh, what if we did that again, but then grab it and do a finger flip out of it? Well, the finger flip, that footage is lost in the loaded archives, but I'll get another one. But yes, that's kind of how that always happens. It starts off as an accident, and then it just ends up evolving into something very unique and or what's the word? Unconventional.
So are these tricks that you're coming up with, like get it on film and it's dead, never going to do it again, or are these things you'll pull?
That depends on the difficulty of the trick, because here's why. There are some tricks that I can do that still haven't been filmed because I'm not consistent enough with them yet to do them in competition or even in video. I mean, there's even this one combo in dancing freestyle that I've been working on where it hasn't been filmed, haven't done it in competition because it's still unstable. I haven't got it dialed in yet. But in the sliding world, there's one trick that I can do that has only been filmed me landing it once, but that's because I was riding different types of wheels. But it's the toe side nose blind 360. That is something I can do, but I can't do it consistently, which is why I've never done it in competition. There's only one clip of me doing it. It was at nighttime, and I wasn't wearing a helmet or even gloves, so I couldn't post it. But yeah, that's kind of, I guess I could say I carefully select what tricks I do in competition and in media, because as a filmer, as somebody who's, holding the camera, holding the phone, you don't want to sit there for an hour of somebody doing the same trick over and over and over again, burning up footage, burning up battery. So to save the cameraman's time, it's like, okay, let's focus more on big tricks, but a big trick that we know we can land. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the consistency element of downhill skating is kind of something that I think is not really like tapped into as much as it could be, especially with sliding and slide jam style. Like for downhill, consistency is key, but for sliding, you don't really get to like see how people are consistent at these tricks because you might not see them in competition like you're talking about. When you're out there learning this stuff, does it come to you kind of like by yourself? Are you inspired by other people you're skating with? Like, how does that kind of like catharsis of a new trick come to you?
Sometimes I might find inspiration mostly on Instagram, really, because there's a lot of talent scattered around the world, especially, Asheville, North Carolina, Vancouver, British Columbia. I've skated with a lot of those sliders in those areas, and they're freaking amazing. Like our guest from the last episode, Jesse Fabrizio, the Italian stallion. He lives in Asheville and he tears it up. And after visiting Asheville, I can definitely see why and how some great free riding talent comes from there. Because man, it's it's a whole nother world out there, man. It's awesome. And then Jake Valentine, he's from British Columbia. I skated with him back in June, and once again, he is a very, very talented man. He's very good at what he does. Yeah, did I answer your question, Kurt?
Yeah, I think I do want to hear what you have to say about the consistency of tricks and slide like competition though.
Okay.
The fact that you don't bring out tricks unless you've got them like super consistent.
Okay, consistency, that takes practice. So here's what you're going to do. All right, here's what you got to do. So when you're practicing, whether it be 2 days out of the week, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, make sure you have, when you're in preparation for that, you have a list of tricks that you're going to perform at the competition, and you practice only those tricks. So what I call it is, like, in fact, what I practiced earlier today, I call it trick review, where you're not trying anything new. You're only going over the tricks that you're going to do in the competition, and you practice those only. And the goal is to try to land each trick or combo or line 3 times before you move on to the next one. Or if you're struggling with one of them, just skip that one, move to the next one. Kind of like taking the ACTs.
Yes. I love that.
Well, you did this unique experiment with Instagram that I wanted to ask you about. You did 30 days with the same post, the Lady Killer Instagram experiment. What was that about?
I'll tell you.
What are the results? Tell us why, when, how.
So it all started with, I got so frustrated with Instagram because there was one point where people were getting millions of views on a clip that's not even a second long. And I was like, how are we supposed to make real videos with 1 second? How? And I was just like, and then yet again, I'm looking at their numbers, like they're getting millions of views from a second clip. And like, as a skater, it's like, how the hell are we going to do that? So that's why I was like, you know what, Instagram, you win. All right, you want to play this game? I'll play this game with you. So that's how that got started. I was like, fine, Instagram, you want consistent media? You want your short clips? All right, fine. I'm going to post the same darn clip every day for 30 days. And the result was unsatisfactory.
Here's the clip.
I mean, it was a simple line, nothing too intense, but I was just like, you know what, Instagram, let's I'm going to be like Burger King, have it your way.
The comments were pretty funny each day. I kept looking for the comments every day.
The comments were pretty consistent from the same people. I definitely enjoyed and appreciated the support. It was nice. Definitely would have done it a little bit differently if I were to do it again, like add different captions, maybe do a prize giveaway at the end, like, hey, if you comment on every single post for the next 30 days, I'll send you a set of wheels or something.
So now that we're on the topic of like kind of the algorithm, the all-seeing algorithm, do you feel like it's kind of shaping the way that media and downhill skating and longboarding is kind of going? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, where do you kind of see it going?
Well, the problem is, not getting any better because with Instagram and social media and the new generation, people nowadays have the attention span of a freaking goldfish, and which is kind of sad because, man, there are so many beautiful longboard films out there on YouTube where, if you tried releasing it in today's world, it probably wouldn't do so well because people like shorter videos and such, or people like, I don't know, like the format has definitely changed when it comes to trying to get good views or followers on whenever you release a video, because it has to be, has to be fast, has to be flashy, it has to be dangerous, it's got to be entertaining. I feel like it's like if you were to watch like a product release video or a promo video, now versus like 10 or 12 years ago, definitely not the same. Not the same. Two totally different formats, different lengths, different atmosphere, different mood, different vibe.
Basically what we're doing is filming those video parts that we used to, but then we're cutting it to like 15 short clips now. And there's no really, there's no cool edit with a cool song and great transitions.
Exactly.
I miss that. And I remember you had a really sick Otang video when you first got on, and like Otang was known for that. So I was really stoked to see you on the team and see what you were gonna make with them. So it's sad to see that go away, and hopefully DSJ will bring it back.
Are you referring to the Magic Burrito video?
Possibly.
I don't even know what that is. Magic Burrito video?
Magic Burrito. That was the first official Otang video that I made for Otang, and it was called Magic Burrito. It's on YouTube. You can look it up.
You did a funny skit in the beginning, didn't you?
We did, yeah. No, where we walk into a burrito place, I order a burrito, and
I'm gonna find this
an alien sneezed in my burrito and made me pass out, hallucinate a little bit, and I wake up on the side of a river.
Nice.
Yeah, no, we put a little bit of thought into that video. That was fun. That was perfect.
That's some classic Otangness right there. Just like pass out, start hallucinating, and you're on a skateboard. Otang. Ethan loved the idea of like, hey man, I'm gonna eat a burrito. It's gonna make me pass out. I'm gonna wake up in a river, and we're gonna skate, and then we're gonna come across an alien who, come to find out, he sneezed in my burrito, which is what made me pass out. And it was a fun time. Let's see what's going on here with this Magic Burrito real quick.
Oh, here we go. Yep, there's Palon's.
Nice. Got the hat. Oh, yeah. Wheel.
My boy Eli. And what's funny is the guy was so nice that when he rung up the receipt, it actually did read Magic Burrito. Well, I didn't even notice that until after we left the restaurant. I was like, dude, this guy came in clutch. Yep. So I pulled something out of my mouth. What? It's a skiff. And then there's the Otang wizard.
Amazing.
Dude, that water was
forms on suddenly.
Dude, we filmed this in early spring, and man, that water was ice cold.
What year was this video released, Jarrid?
We filmed this in 2018, I think. 2017 or 20?
Young.
Yeah.
Looking fresh.
And where is this at that you filmed it at?
This was filmed in Richmond, Virginia, mostly. Yeah, most of it was filmed in Richmond, Virginia, the capital city of Virginia. And the beginning was filmed in Virginia Beach.
And did you film it there?
Yep, that's Ghost near Belle Isle in Richmond. That's a very fun free riding hill because you can go fast, you can get technical. Great spot for practicing long stand-up slides. You just got to watch out for cars every now and then.
Oh, man. Dude, you are probably the #1 seller of yellow skiffs for Otang.
They're my favorite sliding wheels, man.
I'll buy some right now. Hold on. Pause the podcast for a second here. But no, really cool riding. I love like the atmosphere you caught of just like, I mean, yeah, just all in all.
Well, thank you.
Really nice looking video. Hell yeah.
And you're doing dancing before dancing was even popular too, which is pretty cool. Like nobody was doing that except for you and Ari pretty much.
Yeah, dancing. Yeah, I've been doing that since the very beginning in 2010. It was first dancing and then eventually sliding like the week afterwards. That was a painful journey because I didn't know when you have slide gloves on, I didn't know that you have to support your weight with your hand. So when I did my first heel side hand down slide, my forearm just ate the pavement. So it just shredded skin off. And that was my first slide experience with gloves on. That was fun. But yeah, no, you're right. Dancing and sliding, they kind of melded into, one melting pot of tricks. Kind of started around the same time.
So, Kurt, should we do one of these guest questions?
Oh gosh. Wait, who is it? Is it Mark or is it Daniel?
We got both up in here.
Yeah, we got
Start
both.
with we got a guest question from Mark Anthony.
Oh gosh.
AKA the director.
I just saw Mark yesterday.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Jarrid, it's Mark Anthony, AKA the Director of Business Management for Dolphin Team. Got a little two-parter for you here. So number one, skating is illegal in a lot of places. So have you ever gotten in trouble with the law for skating or otherwise?
Plenty of times.
And number two, I know you have made so many friends across your many years of skating. So why are you still in Virginia Beach? All right, that's what I got. Talk to you soon.
That is a good question, actually. So the answer to the first question, obviously, all the time. Second question, why I still live here? That's a really good question. Well, there were many instances where I was trying to move out. In fact, there was a point where when I was writing for Moonshine, Matt Boozer, Brandon Desjardins, and I were going to get a house together in Portland while Brandon was in college, and Moonshine was going to pay a part of the rent in exchange for media and event hosting and such and such. That was the original plan, and that was what we originally were going to do, but that plan backfired. And then recently, I was actually in the works of trying to move out to California earlier this year, and I did have a place in mind to stay. I was going to plan on staying at a skate house in Culver City, but that plan also fell through, unfortunately. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I've tried to, but I don't know. Fate kind of keeps me here, but I wouldn't mind going back home to California because that's where I was born. That's where I grew up the first 7 years of my life, and I still love it to this day. I mean, Virginia's great, but I just love going to a place where you can have your beach and your mountains in the same zip code. We don't have a whole lot of places like that on the East Coast in general.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I hope I answered Mark's question. I'm going to have to give him a call tomorrow morning about this. I'm going to see him tomorrow morning. Never mind. Oh, all right. What's the other question?
Oh, we can go straight into it. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
This is from Daniel.
Oh boy.
Hey again, chiming back in with another question. This one approved by Rob, hopefully. So Jarrid, back in the day, one of the first times that we went garage skating, we went to Town Center and we went to the top of this one garage specifically. And you told us about the experience you had at the top of that garage, possibly something to do with hooking up with a vegan. And I was just hoping that you would be able to remember the one very important key detail to that story, because me and Sam Crandall for sure would remember this key detail. And it was something to do with the taste. Answer that one.
Oh my God! I'm all right. Let's go. What's up?
Oh God. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So.
All right. Give me the lore on this one here.
Okay. So the date was February 14th, 2017. I won't go into too much detail out of respect for a certain someone, but so what happened was I ended up hooking up with a girl on the top of this parking garage, and this woman was, or it probably still is, a vegetarian, and
not to be confused with vegan.
So, he missed that one detail. She's vegetarian, not vegan. But the thing that he was beating around the bush was how every time we go to the top of that garage, I would always the phrase that he's referring to is almond girl. because I like I said, we we're in the car up on the top of the parking garage, man and woman, and what's the phrase? I gave her a Australian kisses. If you know what that is, if you don't know, look it up on Urban Dictionary. And after giving her those Australian kisses, there was a very familiar taste that I was like, huh, tastes like almonds. I dig it. And to this day, and then, so that's what Daniel is referring to is they'd be like, hey, Jarrid, remember Almond Girl? I was like, oh, crap. So, I hooked up with a girl in on the top of a parking garage in downtown. That was a fun night. And it so happened to be on Valentine's Day too. But I will not tell you her name out of respect for her, but good times. Good. Man, 2017 was a good year. Let's just put it that way.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so dang it. Oh, I knew my boys were going to send me some good questions.
Yeah, thanks, Mark and Daniel, for sending those in today. That was awesome.
Shout out to my boys. Okay.
Should we get into talking about your competition and your pre-competition routine?
Ooh. So
we want to know what does it take?
Pre-competition routine?
Let's start with your I guess like your kind of outlook on competition, how you feel about it these days, and like how it's kind of shifted over the years.
Well, back then it was way more intense. There was a lot more riders, therefore bigger competition, and bigger names would come out to events. So like at the big events, shoot, you would have like 10 different pros / celebrities show up to this event. You're like, oh crap, this is going to be tough. This is going to be intense. But what I would do, let's see, pre-competition, always make sure I eat a pickle. You got to get those electrolytes in. Make sure you eat a pickle. Make sure you stretch. And what I used to do in the past was I would always listen to music. It would always get me in the right headspace that I need to be, get the right vibe, get the right rhythm and tone and mood. And then
was there one song on repeat, or did you mix it up?
I would mix it up a little bit, like maybe 4 or 5 songs into the mix. But one thing, and y'all are gonna laugh at this, but I actually used to do this in high school on the swim team, was nowadays I watch inspirational videos like Charlie Chaplin in The Great Dictator film. That speech, wow, that's like one of the best like speeches of humanity you could ever hear. And then this next one is going to sound corny, but I've done this since high school. Do y'all remember the movie Armageddon?
Yeah.
So in the movie, there was a speech given by the president in that film. And that presidential speech is one of my biggest inspirations and motivators to, like get in that headspace. Like, here we fucking go. Let's do this, baby. Like, we're doing it. And it's gonna be a wild ride. We don't know if you're gonna come back the same person or not, but you know what? We're doing it. We're gonna give it our best shot.
Wow, I wouldn't expect Billy Bob Thornton to be such an inspiration.
Oh, so speeches are your thing, huh?
Yeah, speeches, definitely. And General Dwight D. Eisenhower on his Allied Expeditionary Force D-Day speech. That's another good one. And I know it's a little dramatic, but in order sometimes for me to get into that headspace of like, hey man, I know we're here to have a good time, but it's time to buckle up. It's time to give the people what they came for. It's time to give, after all those months of practice and training and dieting, it's go time, baby. It's time to rip the pull cord or pull the rip cord. Thanks, pull the rip cord and just let it rip. Just let it go, let it rip. But one thing I've always struggled with, but here's the thing, Kurt, the reason why I go into, I listen to those speeches, because I can't listen to like super fast pace or heavy metal because I have ADD and I cannot be too excited or be, like, I have to be calm. I have to be calm because if I'm not calm, I'm not going to land any of my tricks. My rhythm is going to be out of sync and out of whack. And that's one thing I've always struggled with. But I mean, I try my best to get around it. But one thing I notice when I skate and practice my lines, I can't be too fast or too excited or be too amped up. Like, oh, let's go! Like I have to be calm. Otherwise, I'm not gonna land anything.
No, 100%, and that's really interesting you say that because I've never given speeches a try post event. So like that's got me thinking like, dude, maybe there's just like a whole bunch of like brain hacks that people aren't trying for racing and slide jams and like tricks in general that people could be tapping into their untapped potential just by playing like a simple speech or something along those lines. That's awesome.
Exactly.
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, I did not see that coming, especially from you, Jarrid.
Plus, and if you guys want to know how the speeches work, this is how the speeches are working right
here. That's right.
This is just a line. Talk us through this line, Jarrid.
Let's see. Start with the this is building in the outer banks. Your next head. Ready to go over the 80 with the body vario. Lost my balance a little bit. Then going for the switch cross step, 540.
There's a little bit.
Yeah, a side blunt slide, then a fakie nose blunt 180, heel check, toe side check, heel side 180, and then a 1-footer, back foot comes off, and then do a 1-footer, but then a pivot out. Boom, there it is.
So, Jarrid, can you talk us through like how you like get to the point of learning these tricks? Like some of these tricks I would say are pretty difficult. How do you like make it a step-by-step process to learn some of these tricks? Like say I was to go out and try something I have no idea how even to approach.
All right, I got you. So in the very beginning, what I did was I just learned trick after trick after trick after tricks. Like, so in the beginning, I recommend just get that bag of tricks and just make it bigger and bigger and bigger. But then once your bag of tricks gets big enough, what happens is you start realizing that you can connect one trick with another in a single line and it won't look weird. It will look very seamless. It will look very smooth. It looks like you're not going out of rhythm or out of sync. And you just have to go out and experiment with different tricks because some of them blend and connect very well together. But that's the part where you have to figure out where you got to go out and practice, look at all those tricks that you have in your bag and go, what if I connected this trick with that trick? And you combine those two, you would make yourself, you get a really cool line out of it. So that's kind of how that started, because now, even to this day, sometimes I'll retweak different lines, like, hey, let's remove that trick, let's take that out of there, let's add this one and add it to there. And to this day, I still tweak, add, take away, remove, and add different lines and tricks to the line to make it look cooler or make it go bigger or make it more seamless. But yeah, so this is that's Greenbrier Mall in Chesapeake. Yeah, I was just trying to, that video, it was kind of just to see like, I wonder what kind of cool tricks I can do on a simple little Lanyards cruiser board. And man, the Lanyards Ripper, man, that takes me back to my like beginning days. because one of my first boards was like that one. And that's kind of how I got started with sliding, dancing, freestyle. Just a little simple single kick longboard, 38 inches long. And you just kind of made that your do everything board, like when I first started.
Talk us through this one here.
What's up?
But you ain't never got to put.
Oh, gosh.
It really looks like you get into like your flow state.
The judo slide. So full disclosure, I did not invent the judo slide. That was invented by some guy in Australia, I think. I saw him do it in a video on YouTube, and I was like, "Whoa, that was cool." Just watch the video like 10 times in a row, back to back, just to analyze his steps and like what foot's coming off, what hands is going touching the ground, and eventually figured it out, learned it, got it on video, and the result was like, yeah, people really reacted to it. It was like, whoa, that was so cool. It's like, but the truth is, guys, I'm gonna let you in a little secret. The judo slide is not as difficult as it looks. It's just imagine. I'm not kidding. It's easier than it looks, guys. Really, it's just a toe side pre-drift, but your front hand, you're grabbing not the rail, but the nose. And when you grab the nose, that acts as a additional weight, as a replacement weight for your front foot. So once you grab that nose of your board, you can easily remove your front foot from the board, and you're not taking away your points of contact because you need 3. If you remove your front foot, that makes it 2. But with your front hand grabbing the nose, you are continuing that 3-point contact. Therefore, you can still remain stable even at faster speeds. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. So I that kind of leads me into another question. How are you figuring out these points of contact, like where I need to grab, like where I need to kick out, like things? Because like I don't see any kind of tutorial videos for a lot of these tricks. Like, how do you kind of dissect a video clip and figure it out if no one's like kind of describing it? Like, talk us through that process, if you don't mind.
Oh, I got just the answer for that one. Kids, go to physics class.
Take notes, kids.
I'm not going to say go to physics class, but that's how I learned it, or that's how I was able to analyze tricks and learn them myself. I took a very keen interest in all the physics classes I took in college, even though I failed most of them, but I was very interested in it. Like, it fascinated me. It was like, wow, there's all these mathematical formulas and equations to calculate the scientific study of the physical world. And that I found that very fascinating. And everything I learned in physics class, like each class I would learn, like whether it be learned about centripetal force or torque or friction, etc., I would apply that to skating, and it helped me understand tricks better. And that's how I was able. It also gave me that advantage because I had that understanding of physics. It also helped me with my creativity and imagination with learning and discovering new tricks.
Yeah, one of those tricks I want you to tell me about is the skier's tech slide.
Oh, the ski slide?
Yeah.
Oh,
where'd you pick that up at?
Oh, I know the exact moment where I figured this out. Okay, so I was on the beach one day. I was lifeguarding one day, and it was raining. I was bored out of my mind. I had my buoy, my lifeguard buoy, the plastic ones that the ones that the Baywatch guards ran with in slow mo. So it was a rainy day. I had my buoy on my stand, and I was fidgeting around with it. I put my feet on to pretend it was a boat. I was, it's like, show it, Papa Ollie, shove it. And then I just put both of my feet on both sides of the edges, and that's where it kind of hit me. I was like, whoa, what if you could do a power slide with your feet pointed forward? But then I started to think of the physics. I was like, okay, in order for that to happen, you have to apply enough opposing force on one side. Otherwise, both feet are going to fall off. So you need to provide enough lean. You need to cup your other foot at a 45-degree angle. Otherwise, inertia is going to kick in and it's not going to work. So after that rainy day of being on duty, once it dried up, I tried it out. And I'm not going to lie, it was terrifying. But I did realize like that moment was like, holy crap, this is possible. This could be done. And then after a couple of tries, I eventually landed it. We got it on video, and you know the results.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
Thank you.
So,
Okay.
Let's go into another topic here.
Okay.
So, tell us a little bit about how you are like kind of threatening yourself into the community these days. Like you're doing Dolphin Team, you're a judge for the virtual slide jam, have been for a while. You're a mini ramp judge at the Virginia Beach mini ramp competition. I think you just went down to Atlanta for one as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, here's the thing. That got postponed to the end of this month. So I'm going back to Atlanta. Well, I mean, I never went, but I'm going to Atlanta at the end of this month for that skate festival because there was a tropical storm that came through during that weekend. So the organizers had to make a difficult decision to postpone it to the end of this month. But I will be going, and it should be a great time.
That's good to hear. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on out there. But yeah, like so you're finding your way into like new avenues of the community these days. Like it's kind of weird to think that like you have all these different avenues open to you, even though you're in Virginia Beach. You're finding yourself and doing these different competitions, having your own little squad out there, the Dolphin Team, being part of this podcast and the virtual slide jam and helping that go forward. Like, yeah, just talk to us a little bit about what that's been like and how that's been for you in your personal life and your skating career.
Very challenging. In longboarding, I'm sure my life would be a whole lot easier if I lived in Asheville or LA or Portland. Who knows, my career probably would be exponentially better. But as far as community leadership, Virginia Beach, I feel like it always has and still does have a lot of potential because longboarders are everywhere at the oceanfront. They're everywhere. Like you don't even need to have an event or a session. Like you could just sit on a bench at the boardwalk in the middle of July, and I guarantee you will see a skater within less than 10 minutes. But the challenge was, yes, there are skaters everywhere, but there was no unity to it. There was no driving force to bring all of these skaters together and have, events, weekly meetups. There was none of that at the time. And that's kind of how Dolphin Team got started. It was just to try to grow a community in my hometown and try to have fun with it, be goofy with it, collect media along the way with going to events, hosting events, and just kind of make our own thing. And granted, I'll admit it's been a lot of work for the past 7 years. And I'll tell y'all a little embarrassing and humbling, but also very appropriate and necessary for the beginning of a journey. When I first, the very first Dolphin Team event we ever hosted, you know how many people showed up? 0. 0. Not a single person showed up. And in the second event we hosted, only 1 person showed up. But the point I'm trying to get is that was the beginning of Dolphin Team. But in July of this year, we I'm very grateful for Mark Anthony because of his drive, talent, and amazing event organization skills. Dolphin Team hosted the biggest longboard event in Virginia. I don't know about in Virginia history, but definitely in this year for sure. Dolphin Team hosted the biggest longboard event in the state of Virginia, which was the Wood Booger Free Ride, and it was an amazing thing to see how we've grown, how much of an impact we've made with other people and like across the country, the states, the East Coast, and hell, we even had people from around the world, somebody from Puerto Rico, Canada. There was even a guy from New Zealand. We were not expecting that part. We did not think somebody from New Zealand was going to come to Wood Booger, but it's just amazing to see how it's all grown through, 7 years of hard work and see how it all ended up. I mean, Rob, I'm sure you feel the same way with how Faceplant started and just seeing how it all progressed and grew throughout the years. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, there's definitely times where it was discouraging and you just got to keep pushing through it. And then, 7 years later, you're like, we did it.
Yeah, exactly. It's gotta have faith and hope and just keep working hard, because that's the whole point of the journey. Is not every single part of the journey is going to be smooth sailing, man. Like, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be frustrations, but that's part of the story. That's how it goes. That's how it is. Otherwise, it wouldn't be that much fun of a journey now, would it?
I love it.
Every virtual
All
slide
right.
jam, the first 2 to 3 weeks are just like, no one's entering anything yet. This thing's gonna happen.
Yeah, it can be scary the first round or two, but you got to start somewhere, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
that starting it out is hard, and keeping it going even if no one shows up, like that's where most people will just give up.
So true.
Agreed.
To hear that you went and kept doing it after like only one person showed up, like what convinced you to keep doing it after that?
Well, the first time, bad planning on my part, because when we did the first Dolphins team event, it so happened to be the same day of a giant parade happening at the ocean front the same day. That was crap on my part. And then the second time, only one person showed up, but yet again, a huge thunderstorm broke out. So right before the event started. So again, nobody showed up, but I was like, okay, this third time around, I'm going to make sure there's no events going on. I'm going to make sure the weather's good. And the third time around, people actually showed up. So it was like, okay, we're making progress here. We just got to do a little better on the planning, making sure there's no weather, no bad weather, and there's no major events happening in the same area. So you just got to make sure you do your research, make sure you plan accordingly. And but that's the thing about the journey of getting involved in this, is you learn as you go. You're not going to be absolutely 100% perfect on the first try. Nobody's going to be, no matter how much research you put in, no matter how many people you ask. When you're finally behind the driver's seat and you're running things, and you're going to make mistakes, and that's all part of the journey. As long as you don't repeat those mistakes, making mistakes is part of the journey, and that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes, folks, as long as you learn from them.
Yeah, I think it can be a little discouraging for people when they hear like,
yes.
oh, I need sponsors, or like, oh, I need people to show up, or oh, I need to pay all these fees for permits. Like that can turn a lot of people away from hosting their own events. Those 3 things,
Agreed.
For sure. And I just want to touch one more thing on this Dolphin Team Virtual Slide Jam judge. You helped me host Skate the Cape. I think you just told me you judged a mini ramp competition in Virginia Beach. Like, are these things just kind of falling in your lap, or like, are you in the point of your longboard career where you're kind of trying to take those next steps of being the community leader and bring the next generation up?
That's a good question. It kind of just fell into place. Like the mini ramp competition I judged at, the guy who runs that skate contest, that's John Fidala. He's like he's a local legend around here. He was pro in the 80s, and I met him like almost a decade ago, and we just kind of stayed in touch. Like every once in a while, I would help him with his skate camps or skate contests in the past, and I just kept coming back. It just kind of falls into place. Like, heck, oh man, the people that I met at ECSC this year, because it's a big event. It's like the second oldest surf competition in the world, and it's a huge event with like it's mainly a surf competition, but because it's so big, now they got like concerts. There's like a 5K. There's a volleyball tournament, cornhole tournament. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with the event. But this year I managed to connect and network with some very well-connected people. And if things go well, wink, wink, some really, really cool stuff might be happening next year. So fingers crossed. Hopefully things work out. But that's another thing that definitely helps, Rob, with community leadership and just, I guess, or if you're in your own personal career, is just networking makes a huge difference.
And you're super consistent too. You're going to all the events and so many different events. I feel like your networking is huge.
Well, thank you. That also takes a lot of work because you're dedicating a lot of your time to spend and socialize with people. And I'll admit it. Sometimes I have times where I'm just like, I don't want to talk to anybody, but but for the most part, I'm mostly an extroverted guy, so I like seeing people and connecting with them. But networking, that was a skill that nobody taught it to me. It just kind of just happened, especially getting involved in the longboard industry. But yeah, it was just fun to network with people. Like when you have a goal or purpose in mind, it makes it that much easier to talk to people. Because if you just try to randomly walk up to someone for no apparent reason, it kind of feels a little awkward. You're like, it feels kind of forced. You know what I mean? But if you like if you have like a goal or a mission in mind before you talk to that person, or even during, then you're like, okay, I have a reason to talk to this person. I have this puzzle piece and I need to connect it with this puzzle piece. You need to find a person who has this puzzle piece. And, I guess I kind of look at it as a puzzle, like trying to solve a puzzle or something, kind of like math. Did I answer your question?
Also helps.
Yeah,
I think it also helps to actually be interested in talking to the person. Like, if you just go up and talk to the person with the solid goal of like coming away with something, and you're not actually interested in them, you might not come away with the same results as if you were actually genuine.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Okay, so I got a quick question for you, Jarrid.
Okay, what you got?
Possibly one of the most goated sponsorships is owned by you, and I want to know, how did that happen? How's it going? Muir Skate.
Muir Skate. Oh gosh. Okay, so that was a pipe dream, and okay, so when did this happen? Okay, so this was a long process. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. So at the time, I was writing for Bethesda Board Shop at the time, and I think it was in late 2019 or early 2020. I sent Scott Embry. Scott Lembach. Sorry, Embry. That's original. Scott Lembach is Muir Skate. So I sent an email to Scott Lembach, and I just did what I always do best, Rob. I typed up an email, made a really good pitch of what if I was a Muir Skate rider, this is what I would do for you. And if I did this, I would like something in return. And he loved the pitch. He loved the idea so much so he was like, dude, I'm going to buy you a camera. Let me know what you would want. And I'm going to fly out to Cali. And I was like, what? Like, wow. It was mind blowing. Like what he was offering. I was like, this is new. This is totally different what I'm used to, man. It was.
So that's the first time you've been offered like a travel budget.
Dude, oh my gosh, dude. He like flew me to Cali like 3 times in a year, thrice in a year. And it was amazing. Like I went to San Diego. Yeah, no, it was incredible. But one thing I learned about Scott Lembach, he's definitely he's kind of scatterbrained. I noticed like we would come up with a plan, like he would pick me up from the airport, like, hey, you crave something to eat? I'm like, yeah, I could eat. You're like, okay, you want to go to Jack in the Box? You want to go to, let's go to In-N-Out. Oh, wait, no, let's not go In-N-Out. Let's get ice cream. You know what? Let's forget about that. Let's go over there instead. Let's get some Thai food. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. I don't hate the guy at all. He kind of scatterbrain, kind of ADHD, kind of scatterbrain. You know what I mean? It's like, ooh, squirrel. Like it's, but no, he's a very hardworking guy, and I'm very grateful I got to meet him in person. And where it is now, so Muir Skate merged with Motion Board Shop, which is owned by and run by Nate Blackburn, which is now in Seattle. So Muir Skate moved from San Diego to Seattle Washington. I visited Nate earlier this year in June. To be honest, I don't think I really had a chance to sit down and talk to the guy. Be like, hey, what's going on with Muirskate, or like, what's the plan? So
on the back burner right now.
yeah, kind of on the back burner. So right now, seems like Muirskate with after the merger, seems like Nate is focused on trying to keep the lights on, like make sure he's selling, make sure Muirskate's doing okay, make sure Motion Board Shop's doing okay. So I don't know how Nate does it, to be honest, because he already runs Motion Board Shop, and now he's at the same time running an online board shop. It's like, how do you have time for both? And
yeah, so it's crazy.
He's a hardworking guy, and yeah. So shout out to Nate Blackburn, Muirskate Longboard Shop, Motion Board Shop. Make sure if you're in Seattle, go check out Motion Board Shop, and if you're looking for a good deal of some board products online, check out Muirskate.com. Boom, there's your plug-in. Nate, where's my check?
That's right. Sponsor this. Speaking of check, actually, this is a great question. Have you ever gotten paid for longboarding?
Yes, I have. I never made salary, but yes, I have gotten paid. Oh man, the first time I ever got a paycheck, that was a oh my gosh, you felt like you're on top of the world. You're like, I did it! Look at me now, Mom.
Can you disclose the amount?
Yeah, sure. What was it? My first check from Moonshine, I think it was $600 or $800 for the tour.
For tour,
to pay for the plane ticket, and pay for some food while we're on the trip. I mean, it didn't cover all the expenses, but it was a huge help to pay for my plane ticket, which was the biggest expense, and then it was nice to have a little bit extra to pay for food along the tour. That was nice.
So it was kind of a travel budget check.
Yeah, it was a travel budget check.
But still, let's count it.
Yeah, no, it's. And then there was the time where I was the team manager for Arsenal Trucks for a little while, and I got paid $100 a month to run the team for Arsenal Trucks. That was quite a challenge, because once I got the position, I was like, oh, this is gonna be exciting. I can't wait to make a difference. Like, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this and this. I'm gonna do this for the team. I want to get them shirts. I want to get them stickers. Make sure they have the products they need to be successful. Give them all the resources. And then when I tell the owners like what my ambitions and goals are, they were like, oh yeah, we can't do that. It's not in the budget. Okay, so what can we do? Like,
why am I here? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so what can we do? We could send them product. That's it. That's all we can do for them. Like these are our team riders. Like they're getting media for us. They're representing the brand, and we can't do anything. Like we can't get them shirts or even stickers. So it was a little frustrating, given like I just became a team manager and I was very excited to do all these amazing things. But then by the time I got that position, we were at the point in the industry where there were a lot of budget cuts, unfortunately.
Right.
So it was, yeah. So it just kind of, I mean, I didn't back down. It was just like, man, whew, let's see how far we can go with this. I did it for 3 years, and it was fun. It was challenging. Would I do it again? Not with a crappy budget like that. No, I would not. If there was a better budget, I would definitely do it again. It was just, start like not hitting the ground running, but like starting off with a very rough start. You know what I mean?
Like your face is dragging in the pavement after having trips.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how it went down. But it was a good experience, a nice little resume booster. So, whenever I talk to team managers for these brands, like, they don't have to talk to me like I'm an amateur grom. It's like, buddy, come on. You don't have to talk. I've done your job before. We can talk man to man. We can talk rider to rider. Okay. It's okay. We can talk normally.
That's super valuable too. So you've worn so many hats. It's really cool. I definitely did not know you were a team manager and all that. That's awesome.
Surprise.
Yeah.
So Jarrid, what hats are you wearing right now these days?
What's your question?
What hats are you wearing these days?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. What? Oh, I don't have another hat at this table. Dang. Okay. Well, let's see. What am I doing now? Well, with Dolphin Team, we are in the midst of doing a kind of a recruitment program, or basically, we needed to find a way to not only increase our numbers, but try to get more members in the community, get more people involved. And the way our solution to that problem was to have weekly social crew sessions. So that way, it's a way for anybody of any skill can come out and meet the community, meet the people, meet the riders, and it's not skill based. If you could just ride the board, no tricks involved, nothing fancy. If you could just ride the board, that's good enough, and that's all we needed. And because of that, we wanted to make it as inclusive and beginner friendly as possible. And because of that, we are getting people that we've never met or seen before, and they're showing up, which is amazing. And by the end of the season, or when it starts getting too cold, we might have some new members in the community for next season, which is very exciting because we have, well, let's see, Mark Anthony, he's got a baby on the way, his baby boy Thomas, and our other guy Tizzle Tay, he had a baby girl recently, so Papa J-Lo is just recently became Grandpapa J-Lo. So yeah, so some new changes are happening at Dolphin Team. The team riders are having babies, starting families. Understandable. I mean, we're in our early 30s, so I get it. I totally understand. But that also tells me is, oh boy, we might have to do a rebuild with. And
I mean, it's happening right now. You guys are adding new members with these babies.
And all the work that we've been putting into it this fall, and it's paying off. Like, we're getting pretty consistent numbers, about around 10 riders per week. And it's exciting to see new people show up. That's the best part. It's like, ooh, new people. That's what makes me excited, seeing people that we've never met before showing up. And I'm genuinely curious, like, hey, how did you know about the event? Because we also collaborate and communicate with all the local skate shops and even some roller skating communities and groups around here. So if a longboarder ever shows up to these shops or to these roller skating groups, they always send them our way, which we're very grateful for, and we appreciate it. And so we kind of help each other out, and we kind of help build each other grow in our own communities and our own groups. And it's all love, because all wheels are welcome. Because heck, we have roller skaters who show up to our weekly sessions because we just want people to show up. We don't care if you show up in a bike, free skates, roller blades, whatever, or even a ripstick. We don't care. All wheels are welcome. So yeah,
tell us what we can look forward to in your writing specifically. Are you learning new tricks? Are you coming out with a new video? Are you after a new sponsor?
You could be. Let's see. I got 2 videos in the works, sort of, because usually in December, that's usually when I do my wrap up video because the past 2 years I would meet up with legendary Virginia filmer Jack Darby, where we would meet up in the Outer Banks and we go hang out by the beach and we go get some really good clips in the Outer Banks. And I still have not met up with Cam Roundtree. I know he lives there. In the past 2 times I visited, I always message him up. I'm like, dude, I'm in the Outer Banks. You want to come skate? And every time he'd be like, oh man, I'm out of town, or oh man, my baby girl is sick. I got to take care of her. I'm like, rats. Okay. No, it's like bad timing. Okay. But and then I've been slacking on this other video project, getting with another guy named Evan Williams. and he's not related to the whiskey brand. So calm down, folks. But his name actually is Evan Williams. He is a local skater who used to be a part of the longboard community out here. He had his own YouTube channel, and he was really good at filming. Now he does videography professionally. And I met up with him at Jackalope Fest back in June, and we talked. He's like, "Hey man, when your schedule's available, opens up in the fall, would you be down to film?" He said, "Dude, absolutely." So that's another video project that I need to hop on quick. What's next? Going to Atlanta at the end of this month. Then we got Reddish Knob in November. Shout out to Zach Taylor. I'll be there to help out with some stuff. Then December we got the our annual charity event, which is the Skate for Change. It will be our, I think, 7th or 6th annual. So it will be our 6 years in a row we've been doing this, and it's a very cool charity organization where you meet up at a location. It could be a skate shop or a parking lot, and what you do is you tell everybody to bring backpacks, and then you load up those backpacks with food, clothes, water, and what you do is you skate around the city and you hand them out to the dang it, Mark, what's the modern PC term these days? Less fortunate? Is that the term nowadays? You can't say homeless anymore. What's is that the modern term?
Housing deficient.
Housing impaired. I don't know. I'm just not trying to get canceled here. I forgot what. All I know is you can't say homeless anymore. It's like, okay, so what's the? I think it's less fortunate. The point is, we give back to the community. That's what we're trying to do.
The ones that need it most.
And
yes,
that's a dolphin team and event. Is that dolphin team, or is that like a citywide event?
No, that is a dolphin team event, but we do collaborate with the charity itself and Karma Skate Shop.
Nice.
So, we've been doing it for the past 6 years, I think. This will be year number 7. No, I can't remember, but we've been doing it for over 5 years, and it's a great way for skaters to get involved in charity, which is always a tough sell to skaters. Like, hey, do you like donating your entire weekend for charity? No. But it's only like this. You're giving back to the community, and in the midst, you're still skating. You're doing a good deed.
Love it.
With skating. So everybody wins.
That's awesome. That's really awesome, dude.
Thank you.
What about 2022? Or sorry, that happened a couple years ago. 2025.
2025. Okay.
Will we see J-Lo Pirates of Downhill Slide Jam?
So I'm talking to Jesse. If I'll tell you what, if I can meet a crew, get a group together, I may end up going to Puerto Rico in February. We definitely got dirt. We already have Dirt Farm Free Ride that's already locked in on the schedule for April. And then June, I think June, I might be going back to Canada, depending on how things go. Fingers crossed. But I definitely would love to go back to headquarters because, oh my gosh, Lanyard's headquarters is a magical place, man. Dude, they got a mini ramp in there. They have a coffee machine, but it's not like the coffee machine you would have in your typical corporate office. No, this thing is huge vending machine with a little spindle on top, and you could select what kind of coffee you would want, in whether if you wanted to add cream or that was a little bit much, but no, it's a coffee dispenser machine. So it just sits there in the break room at headquarters, so you can just have a free cup of coffee anytime you want, which was pretty rad. And they even told me on Fridays they used to have keg night, where after work on Friday they would just bring a keg into the office and people would just grab a beer. It's like, wow, that's awesome.
Living it up in Canada.
Oh yeah, they definitely live it up at Lanyard's for sure.
Yeah, I haven't been there to the corporate headquarters since like I want to say 2016. So it's probably gotten a lot of revamped.
Yeah, it's definitely. I know that their bike shop isn't open anymore. Their warehouse isn't open anymore. So it's literally just the office and um, their American facility in Gardena in LA.
So
Interesting.
how we feeling, guys? Should we do some hot takes, and then I got one last question for him after that. How about you, Kurt?
Yeah, let's do some hot takes.
All right, let's let it rip.
Do you want to do it, Kurt?
Yeah,
Or
sure,
want me
I'll do
to?
it. I'll go ahead and do it here. Need to wake up. I gotta go get this done.
I do have a new one that I just want to start with. Longboarding, or whatever you want to call it, or downhill skateboarding. Do you think it's a sport, a lifestyle, or art form?
Wait, specifically downhill?
If you want to call it downhill skateboarding or longboarding, whichever.
Okay. Well, oh boy. Well, there's my
There's got to be
personal
quick.
opinion, and then
answers.
there's my professional opinion, and then there's what it's supposed to be.
Your opinion. That's all we want.
Okay, professionally, I treat it like it's a sport because I've done sports my entire life. I am a competitive person, and one thing I realized, especially in the beginning of this whole journey, was one thing that gave such an opportunity and advantage was not a whole lot of people took this seriously, as in nobody was out training, nobody was out on the street practicing 4 hours a day every day. And that kind of gave me an opportunity. It was like, whoa, if I practice 7 hours a day every day 6 days a week, that could make a huge potential difference. So professionally, I treat it like it's a sport. Now, the correct answer is it's a lifestyle. That's the right answer. Yeah, I know. People aren't wrong. Yes, it is a lifestyle. Yeah.
Well, you answered it. That was perfect.
Okay, got it.
All right, from here on, we're gonna go a little quick. First,
All right.
Yeah.
first instinct. Here we go. All right. While longboard dancing, gloves or no gloves?
No gloves.
Listen to music when you skate.
Yes, but wait. Only if I'm not on a main road bombing a mountain, I will wear headphones. But if I'm in a more serious scenario like that, like bombing the hills of Asheville, North Carolina, I will not wear headphones.
Longboarding or downhill skateboarding?
Longboarding.
Favorite skate trip food?
Oh, am I driving or in the passenger seat?
Anytime.
Okay, if I'm driving, sunflower seeds, passenger seat combos.
Nice.
Okay. Bearing spacers or none?
Bearing spacers.
Ideal sponsor, not a longboard brand.
Red Bull. Or Liquid Death. Refreshing and nutritious. No.
How about best place to skate?
For which category?
Skate.
Are we talking spot, state, country, street? What are we talking here?
Your favorite place to skate?
My favorite place to skate in the world? Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, what was that place? That's a tough one. Oh.
You broke him.
Yeah.
It's a hard one for sure.
That is a really tough one for me, man. I love LA. Skating in LA is amazing. Yeah, that's a really tough one for me to answer, man. I'm kind of biased. I always love my home, but if I want to skate the mountains and the beach, Cali. I'll just put California. Right down. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, write down Cali.
Toe side or heel side?
I guess toe side.
Do you crumple up or roll your toilet paper?
Crinkle that baby. Crinkle it all the way.
Soft wheels or hard wheels?
Soft.
What
No
Duro?
question. Huh?
Favorite Duro?
David Duro, 86.
IG, TikTok, or Facebook?
IG all the way. Well, Facebook. IG is better for what I do, sort of. But yeah, IG.
Ramps or rails?
Ramps, definitely ramps. Rails will be the death of me. I know, because the last time I experimented with rails, I was snowboarding and I ended up busting my shins and spraining my ankle. So, yeah, I mean they're fun, but that's gonna be the thing that takes me out, and I got to be very careful when I'm skating on rails. All right, next question.
Kookiest trend happening right now?
1 second videos.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice. I love it. Well done.
All right, that's it. That's all the
That's the hot
takes.
I just have one last question for him. How about you, Kurt? You got anything?
You go ahead.
Okay.
All right, what you got?
Where do you want to see longboarding and specifically slide jams in the future?
I would love to see more legitimate and official slide jams, instead of just hosting up an outlaw in someone's backyard. It would be nice to see like maybe 2 or 3 major events in the United States or even in Canada, like go big, like official, like registration fees. There's a real podium. Maybe Red Bull can get involved, like legitimate events where closed off road, like kind of like how you did, Rob, with Bethlehem, where you would have the road closed off. The neighbors are coming out to watch. Like that was really cool to see. Like the neighbors supported it. The cops were on board for it. We were keeping it safe for everybody, making it fun and entertaining. But one thing that I would love to see, especially in the sliding category, is one thing I noticed is in dance sliding, downhillers and free riders haven't really accepted dance sliding a whole lot. But the dancing world, they've taken a liking to dance sliding, which is not exactly how I thought it was going to go, but people are doing it, especially in Asia. I'm noticing it more and more, and it tickles my feathers. It just brings warmth to my heart to see people finally catching on to it after I've been doing it for 12 years. I mean, better late than never, but I'd like to see more people, because that's the thing, guys. Dance sliding is such an untapped division of longboarding that not many people study or take interest in it. But I truly believe that if done correctly, it can be the most beautiful art form of longboarding the world has ever seen. And I truly believe that.
Wow, that's a statement. I like that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've seen a little bit of it, and every time I see it, it just blows my mind. I thought we would have been much further ahead with it by now, but it's still an enigma.
For sure. But at least people are finally starting to realize how beautiful it is and how cool it looks if done, properly and correctly. So yeah, I guess now it's just a matter of time because people in Asia are doing it now. Now I'm just waiting for people in Europe and Brazil to catch up on it. And then eventually it'll probably make landfall in America.
What we need are just some forgiving wheels to help make people slide a little easier.
Yeah.
They're out there. They're out there.
Yeah, they're out there. There's
We have the tools.
That is true. That is very true. Did I answer y'all's question?
No, yeah.
You answered mine.
That
Yep.
was rad.
All right, excellent.
Thanks, Jarrid. Before we go, you have any shout outs?
Oh boy, here we go. Okay, all right. This was definitely not rehearsed. Okay. So shout out to the sponsors. Let's see. Where's the camera? All right. Land Yachts, Bear Trucks, Orangutan Wheels, Riptide Bushings, Dolphin Team, Mirror Skate Longboard Shop, Far Out Sunglasses, S1 Helmet Co. And then recently, G-Form, I don't know. I've been out of contact with them for almost a year now. So I don't even know anymore. But yeah. So yeah, shout out to all my sponsors. I love you all. Thank you so much for this love and support throughout my 14 years of doing this competitively. And I'm very grateful that my knees and my ankles still work, which is even though I'm 32 years old now, but I'm a single man and I got plenty of time to skate. So, and also shout out to my family and my friends, huge support system. And there's also one more PSA message I want to say before leaving. And I've been starting to do this every year in January for the past 2 or 3 years. People of the longboard community and industry, take care of your mental health. That is no joke. Please take care of your mental health, because no one's going to take care of it for you. You can take care of your mental health, but seriously, take care of yourself, because there will be times where you might get burned out, and there are moments where you just have to step away from everything, so that way you don't lose your sanity, and next thing you know, you end up in a not so very healthy or vibrant and happy place. Which is why
And
throughout the past 2-3 years, I've learned to take the month of January off from everything. No skating, no media, no politics, no events, no nothing. And I do that not just because I'm tired of everybody. It's like, no, I need to take a break for myself. Like, as an athlete, my body needs to recover. Financially, I need to recover from the traveling, and mentally, emotionally, everything needs a break. And that's what the whole month of January is for, just to take a break from everything, just get some R&R, stay indoors, eat some chili, read some books, my goal for this winter is to get back into swimming, because I haven't gone swimming in the past 4 years, and I think that would be that's another thing. Pick up another hobby during the off season, like go do frisbee golf or air hockey or ride a bike or something, because if you ask any sports, oh gosh, what's a sports medicine doctor called? Oh gosh, brain fart.
Physical therapist or kinesiologist.
Something like that, yeah. They'll tell you, those medical professionals, they'll tell you that your body, as an athlete, the body's not meant to do sports all year round. Like, heck, why do you think professional athletes have an off season? It's not for the money, no, because athletes, their bodies need a break. Otherwise, they don't last long. That's if you want to last, and if you want to live a long, enduring life, especially in this lifestyle or sport, you got to give your body a break, and also your mind and your spirit. So yeah, that's the last thing I really want.
just to add to the mental health part there, if people are struggling, we have a really awesome longboard community. I feel like I've definitely reached out to a few homies when I've been in dark places. So definitely feel free to reach out to your homies or people in the community, because we're all human and we're all going through the same stuff. And like I said, none of us we're all longboarding, so we're obviously not killing it in the financial realm. So we're struggling in many different ways. So yeah, we're all here for each other for sure.
For sure, man.
And also on that note, like if you have like patterns of certain months being harder than others, try to figure that out beforehand and maybe like plan accordingly if you can. Like get into swimming.
Absolutely.
Good to be self-aware for sure. That's really it's awesome, Jarrid. I just want to say, just for my wrap up on you, it was really I've known you since 2012, and you were a team rider. We got to work together hosting events. I feel like I learned so much about you, and again, I feel like longboarding is just so lucky to have you. The way you approach being a sponsored rider, the way you approach just being an athlete in this longboarding, it's really cool to hear how you break down tricks. You might have failed physics, but I think you got an A+ in skateboard physics.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
So it's really cool to hear how you break down the tricks, and now to see you in so many different areas in the community, it's you're giving back, and it's just kind of all natural, and you're just a really cool dude, and just really stoked to call you my friend and to have you in our community.
I appreciate that, Rob. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, longboarding is blessed to have you, brother.
Happy to be a part of it, fellas.
Amen.
It gave me a life that I never thought I could ever have, and I feel like the appropriate thing to do is to give back to the people. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, thanks for sliding through. That was the Virtual Slide Jam podcast with Jarrid Lopez.
That's a podcast.
Sick.